to my channel. Check it out with Carmella T. I want to share a project with you today, and what we're gonna do is take a pair of gloves that cost $1. These cost $1, and a family member of mine bought these for me as an extra pair of gloves for when I walk my dog. And what I've done is I have just pinned this piece of fabric on here because that's what I'm going to show you without it. That's where I'm going to sew my piece of fabric. So I'm going to do that, and we're going to be putting beads, a couple of beads in each of these too, to make it real pretty. So I just wanted to show you that and bring you for the journey. Thank you. Hi everyone, I am continuing working on the gloves here. Now I did finish one, and I'll show you what this looks like. And it really is beautiful. I love it. The beads are in it, and the fabric is sewn onto it. And I used black thread to blend with the black fabric. And this fabric is like a chiffon, silky kind of fabric. And I totally love when I sew fabric like that onto wool or jeans or something that's a little thicker than it. I love the way that it has like a ripply effect almost, and it just comes out naturally like that. And you can play around actually with that and play with the gathering even a little more, tightening up your needle a little more. And the beads that I used were beads that I was able to slip right onto the needle as I'm sewing. So I didn't have to cut and rethread the needle and then do everything over again. So I'm going to show you the running stitch that I use. It's from a Sashiko method, and it's basically working in the top layer of the fabric, and you can catch a few stitches. Experts who do this in Japan, they'll catch like 20 of them as they're going, and but I'm showing you just a few at a time because you don't want the needle to go on the other side. So you don't want to put your needle in so it's coming out on the back end of the glove. You don't want to do that because you want to keep your glove looking really nice and neat, and you don't want the threads. There's this cuff actually, and wool and jeans, there's enough of a top layer to work in. So you just keep working the top layer, and I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to add the beads because I want to show you how those go. I always do about 2 layers here. I'm trying to look as I show you, but I'm catching. That's how you run it. You just kind of go in and out, and then you're going to pull your needle through, and you see it didn't come through. That's a tag from before. It didn't come through. So you want to keep it on the top layer as possible. Now we're going to add our beads. And to add a bead, I first want to determine where I want the beads, and I place them randomly, and I think that looks prettiest. If you want to go in a row, then certainly stay right in your row. But this is how I do it, and there's a few different ways to do the beads. But I keep everything attached, and I decide the place I want the bead to be. I'm saying right there. So I'm pulling my needle through. When I pull my needle through, then I'm going to put the bead on the needle, and I'm just going to pull through. Now there's my bead right there. And then what I do for me is I just excuse me, make a really small stitch underneath it, or whichever direction I decide I want to go, and I go and I bring my needle to the next place that I want my bead, my next bead to be. That's how I do it. Because this bead is secure. It's very secure right there. And I'm just going to show you now. This is where I ended up. That's where I want my bead to be. And and as you do this, you'll get experienced on where the bead is going to fall. You will get experienced. At the beginning, it will be like, oh great, I didn't want the bead there. Now there it is there. And I'm going to put my stitch underneath. Under, but staying on the surface, but under the fabric in this case. And I'm going to tighten, pull it through. And now that bead is nice and secure. And this one, I have 6 beads on there, and that's probably what I'm going to do with this one. We'll add another one, and I pulled my thread to the bottom part of my fabric because I don't have anything there. And I do have different color beads, but they don't all fit on the needle. So you want to test your bead before you set everything up and thread and start sewing, because it will save you lots of time and for your designing. And not all the beads may look the same size. Like I have some beautiful gold here that I would have loved to have used, but they don't fit on this needle, and I was already starting. So now I'm gonna go up right in the center because I don't have anything there. And you see how the beads are falling? They're very pretty, very pretty. And so I'm just staying with the blue. And you know, these are like, these gloves cost like a couple of dollars. These are the type of gloves you can grab, and you know, they're very lightweight basically, but they're like a nice second pair of gloves to have. And these are the type of gloves that maybe you wear. Whoops, I missed that. See, I missed that bead because I was talking, not paying attention. Talking to the YouTube here. Okay, so I put the bead in there. Now make sure you're laying it flat like what I just did. I don't know what I just did, but I missed the bead there. So I still want a bead in the middle. That's the one I missed. And we're almost there. One more to go. And there we go. And then I'm going to pull my yarn. I'm going to go over to the border because I see a spot here where I want to slip stitch or running stitch, but stitching on the top to secure it just a little bit. Now when you pull it through, what you want to do, so this is it, this is beautiful, but you want to tie a knot, and this is how I do it. I tie my knot, make it really tiny and very close to the surface, because the next thing I do, I just put the needle through underneath that fabric, but not so it shows here. You don't want it to show all the way through. So you just pull it through so it's secure, and you have enough of fabric tucked under, enough of the thread tucked underneath. So there you go. And you know, buy yourself a beautiful pair, simple pair of gloves, maybe for Valentine's Day or Easter or whatever, and dress them up a little bit with the recycled fabrics that you have, some beads around the house. I got all these beads at the thrift shop. I did not spend for brand new. I got them at the thrift shop. So how beautiful are those? Anyway, you have a beautiful day, and thank you for joining me.